Good morning. This is Susan of the North, also known as Susan Hintz Epstein, with the Rune of the Day podcast, the weekly overview for April 13th through the 19th. The rune I've drawn for for Sunday, the 13th of April, is Inguj. Inguj is the seed planted in the fertile ground. It's hidden in darkness until the sun and proper temperature and proper moisture call it forth into the light of day. It will send its roots down, even in the dark of winter, and prepare its shoots to come up during the warm season, which is a metaphor for a human being. To send our roots into the fertile soil. Have we got a good idea that we want to act on, to think on? It's going to take a while to gestate, but we can give it conscious thought, we can give it our passion, and see if it plays true for us, if this is what we want to do. It can respond to our spiritual growth. The sun calls us forth toward conscious being, even as the rain falls, which is like our emotional being, and both halves of the whole have to nurture our spiritual growth in the physical body. We are spirits animating the flesh, and it is such a wonderful, intriguing idea and opportunity for growing if we bring our knowing into it. For April 14th, Monday, we have the rune Yera. This is the rune that corresponds to the seasons, to the harvest, to the time that passes while we are developing our ideas, our thoughts, our desire to move forward on something intriguing and interesting. Remember that we are co-creators with our source. Call it the winds of spirit, call it divine breath, call it Holy Spirit, call it Ruach, call it Chi or Ki, or any one of a number of these terms that have come into meaning as that which is seated in us that gives us life. As we yesterday looked at Inguj as a seed that needing time for growth and maturation, this points to the need for time to evolve and develop. We are always evolving spiritually, if we choose to be. It takes our inner wisdom, it takes our inner fortitude, the willingness to rise up, to be seen, to make our stand known. I am living in the USA. We are having many developmental changes in our politics. I'm withholding judgment, but to stand up and be seen, to be a being of light in these times when it appears that so many people around us are brainwashed into thinking one way or another, is to be a light, a beacon for courage, to not sit in fear of what might happen, choosing to develop an idea, choosing to be a co-creator with the creator, choosing to take a stance for being light in a world that seems insane, is to hold space in strength and in light for the collective human consciousness as well as your own. We can embody that. The rune for Tuesday, the 15th of April, is Ansuj. Ansuj comes into the Anglo-Saxon Futhark from the Elder Futhark, and it remains essentially the same meaning, but they had also added another rune called Os, which is the God force, the river mouth, pouring forth from one form of life into another, waters as they move from the rivers into the ocean. This one is perhaps in the Anglo-Saxon Futhark a little quieter, but it still retains its essential meaning. It's your higher spirit. It's your higher self. It is your connection with source energy. It is a rune also for legal contracts, legal advice. So if your idea that we've been pursuing since Sunday has been something in the business world, this is a good time, or or even anything requiring legal oversight, this is a good rune to whose advice to heed. Make sure that any contracts that you sign today are worded in such a way that you cannot get taken advantage of in a way that's not good for you. For Wednesday, the 16th of April, we have the rune Sawilo. This is the sun shining. This is the sun calling forth Sunday's seed from the soil. This is spring is emerging, and this is April. In the northern hemisphere, spring is emerging. Where I live today, we have a snow squall, but it's just one of nature's winter's final burps before it gives way to bird song and the new greening of life all around us. And it feels good on a day like this to take a walk, to take a moment for contemplation, reflection, to see how far you've come and where you want to go. I'm doing that myself today. I'm taking a personal inventory and assessment of where I want to evolve in these times. On Thursday, we have the rune Menage. This is a lucky rune for coming together of like-minded people, of people who reflect yourself and your values and humanity, in terms of positive social vibrations today. This is Thursday, April 17th. On the 18th, Friday, April. Why do I want to say February? My mind is in a tizzy. It's been a rough week at work. At any rate, the rune for today is Ak. It's the rune of the oak tree, standing alone. You may draw the lightning. It may be a good day for leadership. All of those things said, if you are stepping into the role of a leader, know what it is that you stand for. Know what it is that you can be consistent on. How do you want your leadership to affect those people that you are responsible for leading, for guiding, for whether it's in the corporate world or in a world of being an influencer. Think strongly and know what you stand for. And that is what you reflect, and that should bring a measure of goodwill and success back to you. If not, we've all had leadership that has been micromanaging and nasty, and who wants that, right? On Saturday, the 19th of April, we have the rune year. This is the rune of stagnation. This is the rune. It can mean death, but it doesn't have to mean the absolute end of life. What it often shows up, and Hela is one of the goddesses I work with, and when I work with the Norse pantheon, and she wants to remind us that it's a rune of endings, but every ending can bring a new beginning. If you end cleanly, if you know what it is that you have to let go of to step into your new beginning, otherwise you're going to stagnate. But you can proactively accept the energy of this rune and move forward, knowing what is ending and stepping into the next phase of your life, whether you know what that is or not. Death itself is kind of the great unknown. We have mythology around it, we have speculation around it, we have stories from people who have experienced near death situations, NDEs. There's a lot of fascinating material out there. I find it fascinating anyway. But the thing I want to say with all of that is when it comes to the unknown, we are heavily colored by our own beliefs about things. If you talk to any person who is a fervent Christian, they will talk about heaven and hell. If you talk to someone like myself, who is more of an Odinist into the shamanic aspect of Norse mythology and using the runes, death is just a temporary thing that gives way to rebirth, a new life. And these things are never without guidance. If you ask for guidance, you will receive it. If you don't ask for guidance, you might be subjected to random whatever happens to you. So that's why I advocate whatever your next phase of life is going to be, Accept the situation, willingly acknowledge what you need to let go of in order to move forward, and it will make the new beginning a lot cleaner. Otherwise, we're kind of reaching forward and being tugged back and reaching forward and being tugged back. And it's not an easy situation to get through, whether it's a relationship, a business thing, or something that you decided to try for a while and it no longer serves you. So, with that week ahead, this is Susan of the North, Susan Hintz Epstein, signing off. May you have many rune blessings coming your way.